This video is made possible by my patrons on Patreon. Hello everyone, my name is Ziamaro and welcome to Battlerite Sage. So, today I want to talk about something that has been a huge bone of contention for the community. And it's actually more important to address this than you might initially think. Is Battlerite a MOBA? So first off, let's dispel the myth. The default answer people will give when they call Battlerite a MOBA is the fact that it fits every word in the acronym. It's multiplayer, it's online, and it's a battle arena. People even argue that Battlerite fits the description better than other true MOBAs do, and they're not wrong. But I think the thing that we all forget sometimes is that language is just a way to express abstract thoughts. No word or series of sounds has an inherent meaning. They only have meaning because we give them meaning. So taking a word or an acronym and dividing it into its parts doesn't always give you the result you expect. Let's give you an example. The words awful and awesome are both derived from the same meaning. They basically mean something that gives you a sense of awe. In Middle English, they both meant the same thing. And in those days, awe basically meant a respectful kind of fear. The kind of fear someone might refer to when they're talking about God-fearing. So awesome and awful meant the same thing. In early modern English, the meaning of awe shifted to more of a reverential sense of wonder. Eventually, awful absorbed the negative, fearful meaning, and awesome carried the newer, wondrous meaning. But if you separate both words into their parts, they still mean the same thing. If something catastrophic happens, you'd get some funny looks for calling it awesome, even though it technically means the same thing as awful. The point I'm trying to make here is that it doesn't matter what something technically means. The important thing is the idea that it portrays. So, what is a MOBA? First of all, let's be clear. The acronym MOBA was awkwardly created by Riot Games because they didn't want their game, League of Legends, being referred to as Dota-like. It's not good for business when your game gets categorized with the name of one of your competitors. It made sense why they would want a name for the genre, it's just a shame they chose something so generic. Because that's where the confusion comes from. So many games could be described as multiplayer online battle arenas. So I've just explained why the technical meaning of a word or acronym doesn't matter. It's the idea that it invokes that matters. So what idea does MOBA invoke? Well, let's ask Google. Type in MOBA and see what games come up. League of Legends, Dota 2, Heroes of the Storm, Smite, Paragon, Strive, Heroes of New Earth, Vainglory, and more. And I would describe all of those games as proper MOBAs. So if you had to boil the genre down into one thing, it's two teams with the main objective being to destroy the enemy base. Some other common traits in MOBAs are that they're teams of 5, they have lanes with towers, they have lots of classes with different roles, they have PvE elements like bosses and creeps, most of them have levels and items during a game, and most, but not all, have an isometric view. I think everyone can agree that's what a MOBA is about. And all of those games that Google came up with fit that description. But how many of these does Battlerite fit? Firstly, and most importantly, the objective is not to destroy the enemy base. But what about the other features of the game? Well, we have teams of 2 or 3 instead of 5. We have no lanes or towers. We have no PvE elements, and there are no items or levels in game. The things we do have in common with MOBAs are that there are 2 teams, there are lots of classes with different roles, and the game has an isometric view. But as I said before, not all true MOBAs even have an isometric view. A lot of games have 2 teams, so that's hardly a defining feature. So really, the only thing Battlerite has in common with MOBAs is that there are multiple classes with different roles. But that's a pretty common feature of RPGs as well, so that alone hardly makes Battlerite a MOBA. My point is, while Battlerite fits the individual words of the acronym, it doesn't fit the meaning of MOBA. So hopefully I've persuaded you now that Battlerite is not a MOBA. But why does it matter? The short answer is expectations and marketing. When people hear MOBA, they have certain expectations. First off, they're gonna expect a macro game. Whether it's jungling, pushing lanes, rotating, or buying items, a big part of playing MOBAs is the macro game. Not everyone is mechanically brilliant, and in MOBAs that doesn't necessarily matter up until higher ranks. You can overcome weak mechanics by having an excellent understanding of the macro game. And it's actually kind of the same thing in Overwatch. If you're not great at traditional shooters, but you have a good tactical and strategic brain, you can play less mechanically demanding heroes and do just fine. Battlerite, on the other hand, is more mechanically demanding than the average MOBA. Not only that, but you can't overcome poor mechanics by having a good macro game. So the bottom line is, some MOBA fans are going to be pretty disappointed with Battlerite. It won't meet their expectations. It also works the opposite way. If you're someone who doesn't like MOBAs, why would you try Battlerite? I'm actually one of those people. I really don't like MOBAs. I was brought up with shooters, fighters, and RPGs. If I hadn't played Bloodline Champions, I wouldn't even have considered this game if I heard it was a MOBA. I was big into MMOs at the time BLC went into closed beta, and I was especially into arenas and PvP. When BLC came out, it was described as a player versus player arena game. Honestly, I wouldn't have had a clue what a MOBA was back then anyway, but PvP arena sounded pretty damn good to me. So the second reason why it matters, and I've already started to touch on it, is marketing. Let's say I'd never played BLC. If I'd heard of this new quote-unquote MOBA called Battlerite and a lot of League of Legends and Dota streamers are playing it, I'm not even going to give it a chance. I'm just not interested. I'll just stick to Overwatch, thank you very much. I don't want items, I don't want jungles, and I don't want all of that stuff. I just want to pick a class and I want to kill people. Sure, you can take one look at Battlerite and realize there's no PvE elements, but there are just so many games right now, and you can't really give every game a proper chance. Most people will just look at the genre and they're like, nope, not for me. So I guarantee there are a lot of people out there who won't even have given Battlerite a second glance when they saw it tagged as MOBA on Steam. So what should we call Battlerite? I and many others have said that Battlerite has more in common with fighters than MOBAs, and while that's kinda true, it's clearly not a fighter. Sure, some fighter fans might like Battlerite just like some MOBA fans like Battlerite, but that's not the core player base. It's kind of difficult with Battlerite because it kind of does stand out on its own. It's kind of like Dota was when it first came about. It's kind of its own thing. I honestly don't see a problem with what BLC was described as, PvP arena. It basically means the same thing as the literal meaning of MOBA, but it clearly puts it in a different genre. It makes you think more WoW Arena than League of Legends. And honestly, that is way more accurate. As I said, it doesn't matter what something literally means, it's what something makes you think when you hear it. You hear PvP arena, and you'll probably think of something like Battlerite. So when you play it, your expectations will be met. When I played WoW Arena, I got really sick of stupid turtle comps and taking 10 minutes to kill one person. I'm talking back in the Wrath of the Lich King era, by the way. So when BLC came along, it was way more what I wanted from Arena. There were way more viable comps than WoW, games didn't drag on for what felt like forever, it was mechanically demanding, healers had an offensive impact, and as a result, it was more fun than WoW Arena. Why do you think Total Biscuit liked Battlerite so much? In the early days, he was an avid WoW player himself. Wouldn't it be interesting to see WoW Arena streamers playing Battlerite? Wouldn't it be cool to see Hansel playing Ashka or Zaryu playing Alicia? Okay, I mostly played Mage in WoW, so I mostly only know the Mage streamers, but still, I think they would really like Battlerite, and I think a lot of their audience would like it too. Sure, they don't have as many viewers as some of the big League of Legends streamers, but you know what? If you can get 1,000 new players who stick around, that's better than 10,000 people who play for a week and then quit to play the next thing because Battlerite is not what they were looking for. And hey, go look at the Steam charts because that's exactly what's been happening. I think that there's a much bigger audience for Battlerite than what we've seen so far, but it just hasn't been tapped into just yet. So what's the big takeaway from all of this? Well, what you call the game may seem like a small thing, but it actually has a much farther reaching impact than you might think. So let's stop calling Battlerite a MOBA because honestly, it's not doing anyone any favors. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please feel free to subscribe for more Battlerite guides, news, and discussion. If you'd like to help support the channel and get some unique rewards, then head over to patreon.com/battleritesage. And don't forget to check out twitch.tv/battleritesage. Until next time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.